everybody, it's Stacey from LoveHealth.us, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Plant Paradox book by Dr. Stephen Gundry. This is actually the cookbook because I lent my book to someone, but I also wanted to show you, look, you can still have delicious pizza as long as you pressure cook the tomatoes and use cauliflower for the crust. But this is just a quick intro to tell you what this book is about and my experience with this. Okay, so the premise of Dr. Gundry's book and the diet he's used and the way of eating that he's used to cure a lot of his patients is based on the fact that although we believe vegetables are the cornerstone of health, there are some vegetables that just aren't healthy for us, and especially depending on how they are prepared. So a lot of foods have something called lectins in them. Something like tomatoes has lectins in the skin and the seeds. Now, if you pressure cook the tomatoes, you're okay, or if you peel it and you take the seeds out, you're okay. But he still would recommend you don't even incorporate those back into your diet until phase 3. So many plants have a defense system because they don't have a way to run away from their predators, which is us and animals and insects. And so they have these toxins in their skin. For example, legumes, which are beans, are very toxic, and undercooked beans account for a huge percentage of food poisoning cases across the country every year. Actually, there's one legume that's so toxic that spies use it in espionage because it's undetectable and it just takes a few grams to kill a person. So yeah, vegetables can kill you. Can you believe it? It's crazy. So that's why people soak beans for overnight and try to get the toxin load down. And people have talked about other different toxins in legumes and foods and different ways to prepare them to get the toxin load lowered. So pressure cooking is absolutely one way to do that. And a lot of people are getting Instapots. And you can pressure cook a lot of these foods and reduce the toxins and reduce the lectins that are in them so it won't disrupt your health. So what lectins do is in your body, they're toxic, so they go to your gut and they destroy your gut lining, just like gluten, because gluten is a popular lectin that people know about infamously because it's affecting so many people's health these days. So avoiding grains of all sorts is really important too. They are on his no list. Dr. Gundry breaks up foods into yes and no list, and he says what you can do. It's more important what you avoid and don't eat than what you do eat. But it's a little hard to say that because when you start avoiding most of the foods on the no list, that's probably a lot of the foods that most of us have been eating for a long time. So it's definitely not an easy process to just jump into. I've been trying to eat healthy over the past several years and have slowly baby stepped my way into eating as healthy as possible. And over the past couple months since I read the book, I've been really trying hard to stick to phase 2. And that way I can prepare myself, because once you finish phase 1, you're supposed to jump right into phase 2 without fail, or you'll go back to the same illnesses and problems that you've been having and fighting before. You are going to basically be destroying or killing off the bad bugs in your body, and you'll be feeding the good bugs what they want to eat and what nourishes them. It takes a little time, but your body will make this shift, and healthy food will start to taste better, and you'll get your taste buds back if you start to slowly change over to eating real food and cutting out processed foods and fast foods and things like that. So it's hard for some people because they're like, what do I eat? But I've made some videos about that, and I'll be making some more about what I'm eating on phase 1. And then I'll be continuing that to help people along with this process. Right now, I'm kind of waffling between phase 1 and phase 2. Well, I guess I shouldn't say waffling in this video. Don't eat waffles. Actually, there are some pancake recipes in this book, and they're really delicious, using almond flour and coconut flour. There are some flours you can use. So we'll say that I'll be swapping. I'm kind of changing in between phase 1 and phase 2 right now. I want to heal my gut, and he says that's the first step. You have to heal your gut in order to start to make progress with your goals. And it's like getting the weeds out of a garden so you can reseed the garden, and the bad bugs will die off and the good bugs will flourish. But the reason he wants you to go right to phase 2 is because any opportunity that you give to the bad bugs, they will flourish again. So they will not all die off. Some of them will die, many of them will die off, but many of the strongest will survive and lie dormant in your system. So if you go back to eating sugar or lectins and glutens and flours and all that stuff, then the bad bugs that went dormant, the strongest ones that survived, will come back with a vengeance. And he does reference that in his book, how many of his patients would eat one thing, or I had one piece of pizza, Dr. Gundry, and look what happened. I was crippled in bed. And he said, well, you can make a choice, and it's a tough choice to make, but when you're ready, you go for it. Definitely do the baby steps and work your way to this.